Oh, what are you guys doing there?
Cruising down the back roads, windows roll low, with the music blasting, bass in that flow. Remembering the bonfire, laughing with my crew, jamming on the corner, soaking up the view. Every beat's a memory, every song's a spark, feeling so alive, yeah, out here in the dark. Cranking up the radio, rolling through life, loving making memories, music cranks high. Do you feel that freedom? Can you hear the call? Those back road memories calling to us all. The dreams are still burning, laughter is the same, sound still echo loud, can you hear that name? Life was so electric, every day the song, hearts on the highway, we could do no wrong. Chasing every sunset, world spin around, living for the moment, then we're going down. I can feel that fire still burning in my soul, when nobody's watching, I bring my rock and roll. Those back road memories calling to us all. Calling to us all. Down the back roads.
What's up? What's up? Whoa, we're blurry. This camera and this blurriness. We had to fix that. And I got sound coming from some blasted place. Let me figure out what's going on here. How's everybody doing this fine evening? There it is. What is that? I'd come in after Kicker signed off. My next video of my playlist was somebody doing a playthrough of a video game, and I was hearing this voice in my head, and it's kind of messed up. And we're just stuck in blurry mode. We're just going to have to be in blurry mode because this camera, man, I don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't be shifting. Yeah, it's a normal day, just normal, except normally we have sound mute. Well, we have operator problems. Today it's camera blurriness problems, and it just will not snap into place. I had it fine a minute ago, and then it decided it's just going to be blurry. So it's going to mess with your brain. You know what I'm saying? All right. You see that thumb sneaking up from the side, the giant thumb to smash your skull. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now it decided to pop in. Of course, it'd probably change here in a minute. Wow. I love technical problems. So let's see what's going on here. Let me get the chat pulled up here on the thingamajigger, and we have chats going on in the house tonight. Let's see here. So Franco Quaid and Jeremy, what's up? Kenneth Wayne Waldmer, Jeremy, yeah, no problem, man. I literally I found out when you guys did, so I had like 2 minutes to get a stream set up. Um, we all get voices in our heads, right? I know, dude. It's messed up. Um, so I don't know if I don't know if I put the video up yet or not, but I was playing with the capacitor a little bit again today. Not much. I just went, kind of an interesting day for me, not for anybody else. I made a video about it, but I do that for everything. I don't think I put that video up yet. Let me look. Now I've got to know. I have to know when. I have to know if I did. So I don't know. I did not. I did not put it up yet. So I have a video coming about today. It's nothing great. It's just normal basehead life. But what it boils down to is the caps that are in the cap bank, the Maxwell cap bank that I've got are three. What is it? They're 3 volt, 3,000 farad, 3 volt caps. Yeah. So it's going to take 6 of them to do a proper bank that can handle close to 15, volt charge and stuff. That's kind of a thing. You don't want to overcharge a cap. They do not like it. They'll handle burst of 15.5 in a 5 cell, a 5S configuration, which would be a 600 farad bank. But that would also mean that I would lose the balancers because there's 4 balancers and their balancers are set up for 2 cells each. So if I run 6, I can keep the balancers in the circuit, which means the caps all stay the same voltage, which is good. Also, if I run 6 cells, that gives me a little over 18 volts possible, which is good because there may come a point to where I want to run 16 volt setup, and having caps that are the maximum voltage on them is like 18 volts and some change is really good for that. And it'll work just fine for my 14.8 that I'm currently running at now. Tonight's show, Bobby, you're taking credit for tonight, brother, but I don't know. Tonight, I just I heard him at the same time you did, and I was like, well, shit. Okay, all right, so we're going to do a show. Surprise! I wasn't ready. I haven't the foggiest notion what we're going to talk about tonight. I can tell you a couple of things that me and the mad scientist were discussing earlier in the chat. And we were talking. I was talking to one of my teammates about doing some SPL stuff. He's a younger guy in the group. His dad is quite accomplished, but his dad isn't really helping him much. He's kind of letting him learn on his own. So I noticed this. I'm not sure if it's intentional or if he just if I don't know. Maybe the fella just isn't asking for help. But I was offering some tidbits, talking about quarter wave, how to figure quarter waves for your setup, quarter wave, half wave, stuff like that, and giving him some ideas on how to find the perfect frequency for his SPO runs. That's part of what we've been working on, and then rebasing some music for a couple people. And me and the mad scientist were talking about T-lines and folded horns. And odd things. So he discovered that a few days ago, maybe a week ago. Here's something interesting. It's got him puzzled as well. We both understand that it's true, but neither of us are 100% sure why. And the thing is that in a sealed enclosure, or in a fourth order enclosure, which is essentially a sealed enclosure also, the subwoofers tend to not work well inverted. So, yeah, I mean, and we both made this observation also that you can get windy and low with inverted subs in the fourth, but the guys that are doing the most power and the most volume and the most decibels tend to be running the normal mounted subs in a fourth. And the difference in the modeling software, for some reason, is significant, like a lot, like a couple of dB difference between flipping the subs around. Still trying to figure out why that's working that way. It's kind of a, I don't know. My hypothesis is that it has something to do with the shape of the cone, and the fact that, the forward facing, the cone facing this way, facing out, the negative cave of the cone facing out, or normal, creates a much stronger ability to pressurize the outside air, but it still creates that weaker surface pressurizing the inside, when you think the inside of the enclosure would be where the real pressure is, since it's sealed, right? And having the cone pushing there might be better. But I also made this observation, because you're not just pressurizing the sealed enclosure, you're also pulling a vacuum on it. So whenever the sub is moving out on its outward stroke, now it's pulling a vacuum, and that same cone facing out situation is going to be better at pulling a vacuum. I'm not really sure. We're trying to figure out why it's changing, why it makes a difference. There's only a few tiny things that are different. It's got to be one of those things, but just exactly how is that working that way? Interesting stuff to think about. Um, Jason, yeah, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Uh, let's see here. We all got voices in our heads, man. I'm telling you, dude. I talk to my friend. My friend used to say he doesn't have voices. He has an entire committee, and anytime, and he's not with us anymore, but anytime he wanted to do something, he had to put it put the motion out, in front of the committee, and they all sit around and discuss it. Um, my friend was crazy, though. And I mean that in a nice way, but also in a kind of a serious way. He was crazy. I tell you the story. We were standing somewhere doing something, just kind of chilling, hands in your pockets, kind of looking at something or talking about something, out in the middle of nowhere. And directly I look over, and this somebody is eating a cheeseburger. I'm like, where the hell did you get where did you get a cheeseburger? He said, with his mouth full of cheeseburger, he said, my pocket. I'm like, dude, but yeah, apparently he had a cheeseburger in his pocket. Uh, like I said, he's crazy, man. Uh, good times all around. But yeah, so we have good times. Um, and a regular car. Oh yeah, yeah. I Jason want to talk about that one. Yeah, we'll put that one up here. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. Base Attic 91 put up a video. Apparently, somewhere out there in the internet world, someone has made a claim that there are two sundown eights doing a 150 dB at like 18 hertz and something. And there's no video of this. I don't even know about the exact details. I just know it's secondhand. I have like third hand information in my head. But that's all I need to know, is that someone is claiming that two eights are doing 150 plus decibels at 18 hertz. The amount of air required, the amount, y'all realize how stupid this sounds? The amount of air, the amount of movement and air movement required to build any pressure at 18 hertz, it takes a ton of cone area and a lot of X max, and both. and then quite a bit of power, which power, you can throw all the power you want on 2/8, but you're still got to have enough cone area to move. You know, all those things don't line up. I can see doing a 150 on 2/8. I can see doing a 150 at 18 hertz. Okay. I cannot see doing a 150 on 2/8 at 18 hertz unless your build is inside of a shoebox. Like, is it a port score? And if it's a port score and you're only doing a 150 on two nice eights, even at 18 hertz, you should be doing more than a 150 in the port. That's crazy numbers. But again, it doesn't make any sense. None of that makes any damn sense. All right, so Jason said in a regular car and in a ported box at 18 hertz. Yeah, regular cab, regular car. Nope, don't sound right to me, man. Oh, it's a 4-door. It's a 4-door. Awesome. Okay, yeah. I'm not biting that bait, man. Um, that just doesn't. There's just. I mean, it's like there's math involved here, okay, and the numbers don't add up. Something's broken in that whole operation. It's just not enough air being moved at 18 hertz with two 8-inch cones. There's not enough air being moved to build that kind of pressure. You'd be lucky to do a 130 in that environment with that stuff. You know, I've seen guys do in the mid 50s on like a 12, but they were playing like 70 hertz in a little pickup truck cab. You know, I've seen, yeah, and the guy was doing like 999 watts on a 12, doing 55. Yeah, but again, that's 70 hertz. Totally different environment, totally different thing. There's all the numbers. There's one number that's got to change in that whole statement. Okay. One number is out of place. Bobby, WW, what's up, W? Russell has statement. Russell, percentage of cone area is different. If you're calculating the box size by the TS perimeters of the front of the subwoofer, then why mount the subwoofer standardly? Okay, yeah, you're on that one. Okay, we're making sure we're doing the same stuff. Yes, that's the thing. Why mount the substandard? Like I said, the only thing that changes, I mean, we know that the internal volume, a sub takes up like 0.2 cubic feet of 0.2 to 0.25 cubic feet of airspace changes going from inverted out. That's not what we're getting at. It seems that the two things that are really at play, and actually only one, because I was thinking that, if the magnet's out in the top of the chamber where the air is coming out of the chamber, the top, right, the open chamber, the ported part, that the magnet itself might actually be restricting the airflow. And I'm sure that is the case, but it's also narrowing the channel, which is going to increase the airflow. So it kind of self-cancels. But still, that is a possibility. And it also may be it may be multiple factors that are affecting things, because you may have the effect that the magnet's out and impeding airflow, and the fact that when it pulls a vacuum on the sealed chamber, the cone is squeezing up instead of staying rigid. So if the cone is going into the chamber, pressurizing, and it's shaped like my hand, this back part being the pointy bit and the front part being the dish, right? So if it's going like this, it's going to be rigid because the cone itself is just strong in that position. But whenever it's moving backwards, it's going to be at its weakest point because there's nothing to stop it from like flexing like this as it goes backwards. So it would tend to do this number, right? Not that much, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So you're either going to be go backing into the box, into a sealed enclosure, backing it into that sealed enclosure and pressurizing it, and then being strong coming out, pulling the vacuum, or it's mounted this way and they're going to be pressurizing into the box good and strong and then be weak and floppy coming out as you're pulling the vacuum. Um, you got the same problem the opposite side of the fence no matter what. And I have blurred the camera out again. So I'm not, like I said, again, when you start applying logic to it, everything that applies one way can be flipped around and applied the other way to cancel that first one out. So, you know what? I need to do something here. Let me see something. While I'm going to get back to reading your comments here in just a second, I'm going to pull up my camera software, and of course it says Logitech updates available. Well, and it ain't even going to let me do nothing until I update it. This might go badly. This might go poorly. I'm going to try to set this thing on a manual focus. Let's go back and see what's going on here in the chat because I lost track of everybody. Okay, yeah, throw that window right up there in my face. That's what you do. Okay. Catching up. Oh yeah, so there's quite a bit going on here. Holy mackerel! Okay, yeah. All right, so it's a Mitsubishi. Did you guys lose camera? I don't think you did. It restarted the camera. Oh, yeah, you did. Hang tight, guys. I think we're back. Yeah, I updated the software in the middle of a live show because that's how we roll, baby. Now, can I make you do the thing? Settings. Aha. Okay. Here. Why is that? Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. It had a stupid thing I had to click on the bottom before it would let me do anything else. Okay. That's not it. What a piece of crap, man. This software is so crap. All right, we'll get back to that. Okay. It'll work for now. I'll fight through it later. Let me see. All right, so Jason, yep, that stuff. And Debbie said, yep, Luan, where's it at? The YouTube channel. Okay, we hadn't got to that part yet. I missed something up here. It's a Mitsubishi Diamante. Not sure I know what that one looks like. I'm assuming it's a little bitty thing, and most of those Mitsubishis are kind of tiny little things. The like police are here. Smash that like button. Thank you, Ashy, my friend. Hope you're feeling better. If I remember correctly, you weren't. You were having some issues. Get them. El Fuego. Hello from the Pacific Northwest. Hello, El Fuego. You are the man. CIA extreme car activities. Right. Oh, that's close. What's up, everybody? What's up? Friggin' Ashy won first place on Kicker Unmasked. Really? Did he won would they give away a 50% thing? I haven't entered. I tried to enter that. I entered it a few times, but now I try to enter it and it just won't let me enter anything. So I said, screw it. I give up on the thing. It makes me mad. It ticks me off. Let's see. W, no way. Who that? I'm trying to go out through here and see what. Okay. So Jason said the YouTube channel is Seshman's. It's a 1-year-old video of him testing sundown prototypes. He's in Australia. I guess Jacob sent him a couple of 2 Z8 prototypes to test a year ago. It all seems strange. Yeah, it sounds real damn strange too. Seshman's is that name. Doing a fair fairy tale, doing this fairy tale for a long time. Interesting. Actually, the guy named Thomas M. from Rhode Island. Well, that's a completely different person. Um, it's not a regular cab in any way, Debbie said. He's also blown every sub he's used. But there's that. I mean, honestly, I would expect if someone was going to manage to get that kind of power out of 2.8s, I would almost guarantee you that they're only going to do one run. If they do one run, uh, because you're doing things that defy the laws of physics, as we understand them right now. Anyway, we're not quite there yet. That's like 20 years from now. When we get to the point where we can do 150 plus hertz, 150 plus dB on 2.8s at 18 hertz. That's futuristic. That's hoverboard shit right there. Let's see. Not a regular car. Ashley Larry said, question. For running 1,000 watt RMS comp VR 18 infinite baffle, what RMS amp would I recommend? 400, 500 watt RMS? Infinite baffle? Yes. Cut it in half. That's your rule. I mean, it isn't a hard and fast rule, but if you're going to run infinite baffle, and again, that's like I said, it isn't hard and fast rule because it depends on what the QTS of that particular sub is. If it has a QTS of something close to 0.707, somewhere around 0.7, you can get a little bit more power on it. It's going to depend, and the sub's going to tell you. Um, I would use a 1,000 watt RMS amplifier and just adjust the filters. So do your normal. So yeah, how would I do that? Let me think. I think I would set the gain first at a nominal frequency, like say 50 hertz, 40 hertz, something that's the middle of the road. I'd set the gain first to no clip at that frequency. Then I would run it at the full power, or lower the frequency and bump up the power on your stereo, your bass knob, whatever, until you get to the point where it's okay, it's clean, go all the way full power. Then I'd go down a little bit, and then I slowly come up with the bass knob until as long as it stayed clean, then we'd go down some more. If it doesn't, if you hear that sucker, or if you think it's getting close to hitting, back it off. You're going to have a point to where you're going to start impacting the motor with the coil. You don't want to do that hard. But when it comes to infinite baffle, pushing an infinite baffle, this is something that you're probably going to do a little bit. Just be really careful about it and sneak up on it and listen for the slightest sound. And then back it off. Then you'll figure out where your roll off is, and you'll need a filter down low. If you don't want to push it to the max, if you want to keep it nice and safe, then half the power is where you want to go. But if you want to push it, then you're going to have to build a filter on both, on the bottom, the top not so much, but the bottom. You're going to have to build a nice high pass filter down there with the right roll off to be able to get the most out of it without putting it in danger at full power. So, or you can sacrifice that extra 20% of potential performance and just run half power, and pretty much all that will take care of itself. So it all depends on what you're trying to do with the sub. If you want it to be, really loud, then you're going to want to, try to get that curve right. And if you're just wanting it to bring in the bottom end on music and, do SQ kind of stuff, then just run half power. Probably fine. Dub. I'd love to see that name again. I'd love to see why a weird name person is not on Term Pro site with scores also. Imagine that. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Kind of fishy. Bobby said 21 people in here and only 10 likes. Get to work. Slam it. Slam that thumb in the door. Tell us about the car, Dubby. Yes. Dubby, tell us about the dang car. I want to hear about it too. It's an extreme car. It doesn't even drive. Well, when you're talking about SQ cars, there's a lot of those that don't drive. So that's a funny thing about SPL and SQ, two totally different groups of people, two completely different sides of the field. They're not even in the same state. But one thing they have in common is once you get to a certain level in either one, the car don't move anymore. It's just, I mean, it's like you get in the car and you got to reach under the seat and pull the throttle to make it move. You got to like attach a wrench on the dash to make it a steering wheel or something because they move just enough to pull up into the lane and that's it, or just enough so they can say it technically can drive, even though it hasn't gone anywhere in 5 years. Um, that both of those two groups of people on the extreme end will end up coming up with a vehicle that doesn't function anymore. That I find hilarious. Um, it's all us normal guys. I drive my shit everywhere. My shit goes to the store. I go to the Taco Bell in my shit. Um, it doesn't drive. Let's see. That's what I'm saying, Bobby. Bolted trunk, strap doors. Oh, yeah. Foam galore, deadening all over it. Half the time it's run off of a wall socket. that sounds about right. I know some girls like that. Um, Russell said a basket style helps lessen the rear cone base wavelength due to the basket. Spider and motor resistance. I might have to reread that. I think there might be a little something cool in there. Basket style helps lessen the rear cone base wavelength due to basket spider and motor resistance. I will do some thinking about that. There's also, there's a whole lot of weird dynamics happening in this, going from one to the other. And I wish the mad scientist would pop in because he could chime in and get involved. His brain is a whole lot more geared towards numbers than mine is. I'm a picture guy. I like a picture book. I want to see things. I don't want to talk about how many molecules make the damn thing up. I want to see if it can jump over the wall. That's my thing. I want to see the colors, pretty colors. High amperage wall socket. Um, yeah, fair. Couple crown amps, yeah. Voltage, baby. That's all it takes. Um, Emmett says that name again. I don't know what. Well, I got to come up with a way to pronounce that because I can't pronounce it the way Seshmans. Man, there's just too many. There's not enough hard consonants, and there needs to be at least one hard consonant in there somewhere. It just sounds meh. Yeah, it just kind of pours out. A lot of French words are like that. Meh. There's no power in the word. It's just sort of a sound effect. Um, did the 150 dB video. He also did a 145 with two 6.5s. I'm still calling bullshit on that too, man. I don't know. I mean, I guarantee if the cat. Okay, here's the thing. If the guy has bullshit in one video, it's all bullshit. All credibility goes out the window. Again, I cannot speak on this. I got to pull this video up myself. Should I? I get in trouble for that. I know I get in trouble for that, guys. Okay. So look, I can pull up this guy's video, but we're going to be talking crap, okay? And that does not set up a good, a relationship conducive to cooperation. So I don't particularly want to get copyrighted by somebody who we're going to talk crap about, because that's not going to go well. Bass wife, she tried to sneak in, and she did. She snuck in, but she tried to escape. I caught her. Come back here. Back here by big old Jeff back here. Don't freak the camera out, because it start blurring out on me again. Hey!
Hi.
Y'all say hi to Bass wife. Watch up here for anybody to say hi, because I'm way up here on this list. Everybody say hi! Dang it, I yelled at her the last time she come in here. Y'all said hi, and she just took off. I was like, they're telling you hi. She's like, whoa.
Well, hi. All right. I'm done.
You're done.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Hey,
What?
I love you.
I love you too. Take your pills now. Take your pills on camera.
You're making that noise on the table that's really loud. Bring me a cat.
Why?
I don't know. You don't have to. I'm just kidding. All right.
Now to get a cat.
Don't bring me a cat. As you said, I'm doing well, my brother. Bullfrog. He won the bullfrogs. I'd like to have a set of those bullfrogs. I should build something like that out in my driveway. Now everybody says hi, Bass, when she leaves. It's like she's gone now. Man, you guys are so slow. As she said, ha 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 ha. I'm Thomas M. from Rhode Island. Hell yeah. Let's see here. El Fuego. I heard Dubby was harnessed the power of the southern hemisphere to hit a 170 with 2 Sony explodes. Hey, baby, if you're going to do it, explode it. Sony explode for the win. And when I get this set up behind me, it's changing. I'm going to also have some stuff hanging on the wall. I want to move my thing forward some, so I have more room between me and the back wall. And this wall is going to be very busy back here. So we're going to have some cool stuff up there. Right now, we got Big Jeff just chilling. Let's see here. Jason. Ashy, with no enclosure, most infinite baffle installs recommend half rated power. Yes. It's just as easy to hit max excursion. Yes. I run more power and then dial it back. That's what I said. It kind of depends on how lazy you want to be. If you want to be lazy and safe, just run half power. But the thing about running half power is you lose that dynamic top end. And if you're running an infinite baffle, odds are you really value dynamic, rumbles and booms and stuff. So that's why I said a little more than that, and then just dial it back, because you're still going to get the dynamic power out of that. A little bit more headroom for spikes, which is where the good stuff is. Bobby. Battery was not my battery. Blah, blah. I'll just put it on the screen. W said my battery does not allow this. I have no idea where in the conversation I am, so that's quite funny. I love picking up these little tidbits, and you guys are talking back and forth, because it makes sense if you're in the conversation, right? But if you just jump in sideways there somewhere in the middle, it's like, what the hell even are you talking about? It's funny shit. Actually, I was thinking that, Jason, but my luck hasn't been the best. It happens. W's the only man on the planet to do a 170 on 2 Sony Explode 12s and a head unit. Yeah, baby. Head unit power. It doesn't drive. Nothing drives. Saw a guy on PS Sound. You guys watch PS Sound? Guys, really, if you want to know about the most extreme levels of, those people are on that. They had a little video of this center seat SQ car with 2 15s in the front under the dash, and there was no dash, instead of a dash and a steering wheel and gauges, we had one big wide curved screen that went from one side of the car to the other. Just off the edge of that screen, a two-way right there with the mid and the tweet, and then just below that on the what will I guess be the kick panels, a little high kick panels in that area, about where the glove box would be, but on both sides there was a little, like a 6 or something down there, and then behind the TV, under the dash, was 215s, and then the hood was cut out so you could see in, and the top of the box that 15s were in was clear, so you could look through the hood and see the backside of the 215s. It was a sick build, but there was no steering wheel, there was no gas pedal, there was no brake, there was no gear shift. There was one big, huge screen, and the seat, when you sit down on it, it hit a controller and the seat slid over to the middle of the car. So you were sitting in the middle. There was nothing to hold on to, nothing to control the car with. I'm looking at it going, how the hell did you? I guess they just push it in there. I don't even know what is it even a car? Is it even remotely a car? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm very confused by this. Man, not nan. I pick up on that. I ignore typos unless they're funny. If the typo is funny, I'm going to get all over that. If it's not funny, I'm just going to fix it when I say it, unless I don't notice it. Man, Mr. Nan Man. And never blow us up. Never. You don't blow Sony explodes. Sony explode blows you. Doesn't drive. Jason said the old model comp VR 18. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Floating tacos. Bobby said floating tacos. Hell yeah.
Crushing on these tacos, we buy the Fiesta. Guac on the side, man, you know it's the best. Lettuce and salsa, stack it high, make it pop. Crunch in my mouth, can't stop, won't drop. Sliver in, flavors cold is so sweet. After one taco, I'm in for a repeat. Bite after bite, got me dancing in my seat. Hitting up the
Hello, we're back. That was fun. Yeah, Jason, it's a beast, bro. It's in mint condition. I'll do 1,000 RMS, no problem. I put it in a ported enclosure. Yeah, I'm not sure what was the Comp VR 18. Let's look that thing up real quick. I should do that. I don't know. Comp VR 18. So they don't sound right. Am I missing something here? The old model Comp VR 18. VR. I could have swore he said something about an Alpine earlier. Did I miss something? You know, I am getting old, so no, I'm not getting old. I have existed in a state of old for a time. But guys, Ozzy died. Hopefully that's not news to anybody tonight. But yeah, Ozzy Osbourne died today. I don't know what he died from. I guess he just died. Well, I mean, Parkinson's and old, but he died. And I have, it's one of those times where I actually have odd feelings about his death. Usually when I hear about someone, some famous person dying, I'm like, because, you hear somebody say, hey, that's that person so-and-so. Next thing they're going to say is they died, right? It's coming because that's the only time you ever hear about that person. It's like, oh, you remember that guy from, this show? Like, yeah, he died. I kind of thought that's what you were going to say because I haven't talked about that person in 15 years, nor did I even know who their name is. The point, though, um, Ozzy was in a weird place, man, because, he spent his whole entire life on stage. Like, his whole life. That's all he's done. That's all he's ever done. That's all he ever wanted to do. And he did not ever want to stop performing. He would have performed into eternity over and over again. And whenever he got to the point where he literally couldn't perform anymore, it just wasn't possible. They put him in a chair. And one of the few people on the planet, one of the few rock and roll vocalists on the planet that can pack an arena in a freaking chair. At 75 years old, the point is, though, he did his last show. And I think it's almost poetic that he died that soon afterwards. Because once he stopped performing, he stopped living the life that he knew, the only life he knew. It was sort of the end at that point. It was almost, natural for him to die immediately afterwards. I know that sounds messed up, but that's what was in my head. It's very sad. And I feel bad for Sharon and their kids, and especially the grandkids. Because he had several grandkids, at least one that I heard about, had some good relationships with his grandkids, and I'm sure they were crazy about his insane antics and stuff and his personality. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting observation. I'm just being honest. Maybe that makes me morbid or weird. I don't know, but I just felt like it almost seemed should have happened. That was normal. That was how it should go. And indeed, Mama, he's coming home. So I'm almost jealous of him a little bit. I've got a neighbor who uses a plug-in lawnmower. Yeah, very good. This is an excellent segue into a lawnmower. Let's see here. Yeah, he said, isn't that 18 rated, 500 watts RMS? Yeah, and 1,000 watts. Oh, is it really? He said 1,000 watts RMS. Good observation, Jason. You get him straight, brother. I went 45 with 2.5. Yep, I don't believe it. 45? I thought he said no, he did say 45. No, I don't buy that either. Let's see here. They're just now saying hi to base wife. I'm down to that point. See, y'all are way ahead. I swear there's a 10 to 15 second lag time before you see messages. It could be. I know that I don't lag. The video and audio doesn't lag. So let's do a test. I'm going to watch the screen because that's the very latest. So let's do a test. You guys know how to do ping pong? All right. Let's see here. Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Jason? Jason, you're going to do it. Get ready. Type in the word pong, but don't hit the send button yet. Okay? Get it typed in and ready. And whenever you hear me say ping as fast as you can after that, hit the button. Get ready? 3, 2, 1, ping. Waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. Still waiting. Holy shit. Yeah, oh crap, dude. That's at least 20 seconds. Wow. That was at least 20 seconds. You're very observant, Jason. Thank you. Now we know. Okay. So yeah, apparently there's a long delay. Um, wow. That was long. Okay, interesting. Good to know. See, that's how you learn shit. Science. You learn it with science, right? You do an experiment and it freaking worked. Holy mackerel. Um, everybody's Pong. This is going down all the chat. I love it. Except for Ashy, who cannot follow directions. Ashy. He had one job. And you had a 50-50 chance of doing it right. That's hilarious. Um, let's see here. Let me go in here and see if I can find any questions. Don't have a CXA. You guys are awesome. Okay, Stu's in the house. Evening, gents. I'm here now. The show can start. We're going to start it over? Okay. All right. We haven't gone anywhere, man. We've been running around in circles like a bunch of idiots. So just jump in the circle and, yeah, hang on. Dub trained John Wick to kill with a pencil. Hell yeah, man. Let's see here. Brian Mitchell's car, the center seat one. That sounds like the right name. Yeah, that sounds like the name. Yeah, yeah. Brian. I remember the name Brian. Yeah, absolutely. Really cool build. Oh yeah, it is a nice car. It was really nice, but it wasn't a car anymore. It was a car-shaped stereo booth. It was a. I don't even know what to call it. It was a car-shaped, car-sized movie theater. That's it. Jason said, Ashy, that KX850.2 is rated for 4 ohms mono. You might try running a 2 ohm. Maybe the impedance will rise. Yeah. The car is like a glider. A glider. I don't know. It's like a glider. I get it. With no a truck with no drivetrain. It maybe is. I mean, he put the subwoofers under the front, like where the engine would normally be, but this could have been. Oh no! Oh, that's so true. Because there was nowhere because he had amps in the back. It literally didn't have an engine. That car didn't have an engine because he had a motorized amp rack in the back that stood up. And below that was level with the trunk. And then they had a water cooling system keeping the amps cool. Like, why do you need a water cooling system on a sound cue amplifier rack? The thing goes like 2 decibels. You know what I'm saying? It's so quiet when you turn it up. You're standing outside the car and you can't hear the music. The door's wide open and you can't hear what's playing in the car. You don't need to water cool those amps. Okay, it's cool. Yes, but totally unnecessary. And there's no engine. Unless the car was running on like an electric motor that's mounted up under there somewhere. But it didn't have a steering wheel or a gas pedal or a brake or a gear shift or seat belts. It had one seat and it slid back side to side. Yeah, I don't think the car even had the option to run. I don't even think there was an engine in the car. That's messed up. Wow, it just occurred to me that I was thinking for some reason after I saw the subwoofer in the front, I was thinking that there was a rear engine, but then I remembered the little part where he showed the amp rack rising up, and there was nowhere for an engine to be back there. It would have to be like an opposing, I don't know, something weird. It drives by remote, he said. He used some Harbor Freight Electrics to drive it. I doubt he even knows what Harbor Freight is. Battery-powered winch motors to operate the wheels. It drives by remote control. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. See, you know what, man? Look, I have a problem with that. Because during that video, he said, oh, here comes the judge to judge you, you know? The judge comes over to judge the car. how is it a car SQ stereo competition if there's no car? I mean, in the SPL world, at least there's an engine, and they can get in there and reach down under the seat and pull the throttle cable out, and fiddle with another cable to get it in gear and sit on a bucket and drive it over the thing. It technically can go down the road under, normal car power. What the hell is it whenever the car doesn't even have an engine? I mean, why not just build a shape of a car and just carry it in there and set it up? Make like the thing they used to put in some of the car audio places that have a little car shaped space in there with a stereo and some speakers for you to get in there and give you demos and stuff and demonstrate products, a little car shaped thing. Just set one of those down in there. It's like, it's a car. Look, it's car shaped. It even has a bumper. I don't get it. It's like completely, you've gone so far outside of what's normal that it's not even the thing it used to be. It's something completely different. That's wild. Let's see. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Yes, sir. Oh, I was hoping I wasn't giving anybody that news. I figured by now you guys had heard about it. This happened early in the day, as far as I can tell, but it was today. Sorry that I had to be the one to pass that on to you, my friend. Ashley said Ozzy was the first concert I ever went to. Saw him with Motley Crue. I lied to my mother and told her I was going camping. You know what the funny thing is? Ashley, your mom probably knew better the whole time. I learned that later about my mom. I thought I was getting over on her a lot of times, and she wasn't no fool. She knew exactly what. She didn't know exactly what I was necessarily going to be doing, but she knew that it wasn't the thing I was trying to tell her I was going to go do. And I always thought that I was getting over on her, but the whole time she was just, letting me think that. It's funny how that shit works. You figure things out as you get older. Crazy stuff. Sad day for music, Stu said. Ozzy had a unique sound, man. Very unique sound and great singing voice. Very, very good entertainer. Saw Blizzard of Eyes, and I saw him again. No rest for the wicked. Yeah. Killed his soul the last concert. He couldn't stand about the crowd. Yeah, no shit, dude. I think he would have rather stand up and fall on his face and the process of bowing than not even try to bow. Ozzy was a soldier, man. He was something else. Something else. He's a completely different kind of person. It just so happens that he was, a rock singer. Anything he chose to do, he would have done it a million times back harder than anybody else. That it's just certain people are just cut like that. They just put everything into whatever they're doing. Did Ozzy do the bat thing or bite the head off? That's a whole story, man. Let's see here. No, Ozzy family, he's a legend without, yeah, no doubt, dude. Amazing vocalist. Let's see here. The bat's probably up there with his arms crossed waiting. Good stuff. Jason said, I was wondering if you've seen it in concert. No. What's Ashley saying? No, Franco, but he threw a tin bucket into the crowd and said he wasn't singing until the crowd filled it. He fucking drank some and started the show with Crazy Train. That sounds like Ozzy, man. So that's the thing. It's all about the show. I mean, look at a band like Kiss. Good musicians and everything, good music, but they wouldn't have been nothing whatsoever without the show. The show was what made that shit work. they would have just been another generic band without the show. So the show was a huge part of it. Bobby, ooh, Pong. Okay, we're up to the Pongs. Let's see here. Science, observation. That's not everything. Science, observation, and participation. The most important part you left out. Science is observation and experimentation, observation, but most importantly, writing it down. The difference between fucking off and doing science is writing it down. Don't forget that. If you don't write it down, you're just fucking off. Slightly delayed video. Is it possible you're seeing a slightly delayed video? No. I know this because I pulled up my show on another browser from different Facebook and on Google and YouTube and all that stuff, and I'm able. It's delayed by about a half a second. It's a little tiny bit of a delay, but not much. It would sound like a jacked up echo if I had it playing in the background. So that's not it. It's just the chat. I think maybe the chat might be delayed because of some kind of filter or something. I don't know. Not sure. But it is what it is. I'm starting to build for my Ford Dreamsicle 18s tuned to 20 and 44 hertz. Oh, I love the way you think. At 44 hertz is almost wasted though. I'd probably tune it to like 40, 20 to 40, or get a little bit more hump in it. But yeah, I guess you're doing a sixth, like a Series 6 probably. That sounds nasty, man. That's going to be great. It's going to be freaking great. I need to smoke some grapefruit, Kim Dog. There you go. A tiny motor, and it's old. Kicker might have been guessing with that 1,000-watt rating. It may have one of those boss ratings. Let's see here, Ashy. Yeah, if there's any doubt, man, like on, for example, let me give you guys an example here because I got this kicker over here in the big blue barrel. That thing will shake the whole house in that barrel. It's a 10-inch kicker, like a Walmart kicker, right? The cheap ones. It'll shake the whole house. The neighbor over here hears it. My neighbor this direction. This neighbor over here hears it and has told me about it. And I got like, whenever I had the thing cranked all the way up, it's getting about 40 watts. It doesn't take a lot of power to excite a driver that doesn't have any back pressure. They get moving, really quick, especially if it's a fairly light cone and magnet structure and all that, or cone and coil structure. With a soft suspension and no real pressure built up behind it, they can get stupid real easy off of very, very, very little power. That's the efficiency of a infinite baffle for you. Let's see here. Ashy said, Jason, I have them in 8, 10, 12, and 15, and that 18. They're beast for subs. I already had 1200.1 and ate it right up. Hell yeah. All Brian's amps are Class AB, and it gets loud. Imagine it's got 2 15s under the freaking TV dash. It's a cool car. It really is. If only it had an engine and drove. I'm not going to let that go, man. That's not right. That's just wrong. I mean, I dig the subs in the front, but the thing needs to be able to be a car, or it isn't a car. It's just a car-shaped object. And it's not, I don't know. I'm just going to go on a rant about that. It's all branch class A, B. It gets loud. I think he did the water cooling. Yeah, the water cooling thing was just for the hell of it. I get that. It's for show points. It's for cool factor. I totally understand that. It's like, what's the point in RGB? It's cool, you know. It looks cool. It doesn't add to the thing. It's just cool, and I dig that. But it doesn't have an engine. It is a cool car. I bet it sounds amazing too, by the way, especially seeing as you're literally physically centered in the vehicle. You ain't got to fight with the fact that, you know, you're closer to one side than the other and trying to make that shit work. You just put it in there and leave everything centered, and Bob's your uncle. It's in your face, and it's like going into a Bose theater room. You know, they put you in that perfect spot. You know, it's right in the middle. Everything's perfect, so it's going to sound amazing in that particular room, which is built specifically for that. The room doesn't have to function as a room in any other way. It isn't a living room. It isn't a kitchen. It isn't a den. It's a room built specifically for that purpose, which is exactly what that car was. It's cheating, is what I'm trying to say. Bobby said, I'm going to build an SQ cardboard box and compete with it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just roll in there with, you know, a refrigerator box with the word car painted on the side. Look, it says car right there. I can, you know, it's got rollers on the bottom, so I can just roll it in here. It's a car. I'm like, oh, God, get me to go. And Stu, SQ is all about the sound in a vehicle environment. Yeah, but if it don't have an engine or a steering wheel or gas pedal or brakes, any controls, you can't drive it nowhere. It's not a car. So it's not a vehicle environment. It's like you could go to the junkyard and sit in one of those and go, oh, it sounds amazing. Yeah, but it doesn't go anywhere. It can't move. I just entered the Hot Wheels 500 watt class. Oh, yeah, baby. Still seeing 10 volts, W said. Yeah, that's not good. 10 volts is bad. 10 volts, it tells me you may have a bad cell on the battery too. Can't really see under the hood. It's a Hot Wheels. No, Mom. Oh, if my mom knew, I'd still be healing up from the beating. You think that. Telling you, man, your mom knew a whole lot more than you think she did. A whole lot more. They just let you get away with that shit. I got a hold of Kiss. Oh, cool. A Kiss stage rider. Back when I was running around. They needed something like 400 amp 3-phase power distributions for the light rig alone. Oh yeah, the lights get crazy. I worked for Shoji Tabuchi. I worked for Kirby Van Birch. I worked for Bart Rocket, and I worked for Sean Paul and Julianne. I worked for Gregory Popovich, and I worked at the Grand Palace Theater. All of these in Branson, Missouri, and I worked backstage. So I worked with a lot of those $1 million lights and those big used sound systems with the rigging and all of the wire work and the cable work, curtains, power wire runs, moving all the crap around, set pieces and stuff. We did all that. One of my cues is actually to undress a girl. I had to undress a girl as one of my cues. She came flying at me off stage, and I would catch her. She'd be at a dead run, and she would run into my arm, and I would stop her with my arm, because if I didn't, she'd hit the wall. I'd stop her with my arm and unzip her and pull her clothes off, and she would change clothes. We had to do a change her clothes in like 30 seconds from one outfit to a completely different outfit, and then she went back out on stage again. And that was one of my cues. I undressed a young lady every night, twice a day, every day, and redressed her all in 30 seconds. So yeah, I've done a lot of theater work. I've seen a lot of cool stuff, and I'm telling you, man, the best part in the theater and the show is what's going on behind the scenes. That stuff's way more interesting to guys like us that are into this technical world. You know, if you can get behind the curtain and see what's happening behind the scenes, it's way better than watching the show from the audience. So there's all kinds of cool stuff and goofy stuff happening behind the scenes. Let's see here. I got all the way off target. We're still talking about Hot Wheels. Let's see here. Yes, sir, Ashy. There, we're still running 64 cans per stage. Yeah. Let's see. Skipping down through here and trying to kind of get slowly catch up here. Did I hear the 2 sundown? Well, we talked about that. I'm so bad. We talked about that for like a long damn time. Yeah. Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. Rewatch the show. Go back and rewatch the beginning. We talked about that for a long time. In fact, W's even laughing at you, just so you know. Said that never happened. That's generally the consensus, man. That's the general consensus. Stu said the thing with Brian's car is the image and dynamics. It gets loud, but the image stays 100% focused. There's no rear feel either. Yeah, I don't normally do rear feel. But you can clearly hear sounds travel around your head. You can do that with acoustics anyway. Guys, if you got one of the more cool smartphones with the elaborate sound systems, you can do little apps and stuff on them. And I've had a friend of mine handed me a smartphone and said, "Here, check this out. Hold the phone in front of your head." And I held the phone up in front of my head, and it played this thing, and I could hear the sound going. Then I heard it go around behind my head and come back around, and it did all that shit, and it sounded really, really cool, all from 2 tiny little speakers on the end of some smartphone. It's just how the acoustics work, and your ear detects this differently. So when you get that closed and open, your brain processes that as the sound going back and forth. And so it tricks your brain into thinking that but yeah, it's very cool. I dig it. All I'm saying is I kind of understand it. I think it falls into the realm of psychoacoustics or, yeah, acoustics are cool though. That's why I enjoy what I do, is because it's one of the things I enjoy about it is learning about acoustics. And I'm still an SQ guy. I just like bass. I like low bass, and I like making people happy, and I like making people smile, and I like doing cool stuff. It's just 2 different groups. Those hobbies happen to intersect with each other. And so I am a SQ guy by heart, but I'm also a bass head. We talked about it earlier. Yep. The movie noise is off. It sounds like great film. Let's see here. I'm going to buy 2 of them and try it. Yeah. Yeah, you better go ahead and do that. You need to go to the men's section and buy that special tape measure to measure them dBs with, man. You got to get the man's tape measure, or you're not going to have enough dBs. Oh my God, popsicles. Let's see here. I gotta put this enough. Then I'll sell the Dean sickles and get the team sickles when they come out. Yeah. He says, yeah, definitely psychoacoustics. Holy crap, we're getting some. We got tacos. Where are they at? Wait, whoa, shit. They just keep going. They keep going. We got tacos. Here they are.
Crushing on these tacos, we by the fiesta. Guac on the side, man, you know it's the best. Lettuce and salsa, stack it high, make it pop. Crunch in my mouth, can't stop, won't drop. Sliver scissor in, flavors cold is so sweet. After one taco, I'm in for a repeat. Bite after bite, got me dancing in my seat. Hitting up the taqueria, can't face defeat. Taco love in every single bite. Feeling good, every feast all night.
I love the taco dancer. Hell yeah, man. Appreciate that. Emmett Bishop said, we need 10 more green team members. I don't have the thing. Guys, tell me, on your screen, does it show up? Are you seeing the green team? Like, are you seeing the names that are different with the ones that are members or not? I can't tell. And I'm not sure if I just need to go in there and find a setting or something. But congrats to everybody that received a membership. You guys are all hooked the hell up. Hooked up. Thanks to Emmett Bishop. Thank you, sir. Stu, Stu said, did you ever see Peter from PS Sounds Civic with the IB sub in it? Don't think so. I think it was about 10 or so years ago. He claimed it would do a 15 hertz at like 140. Okay, so depending on what kind of sub it was, that's a doable number. If it was like a 15 or bigger in an IB in a really tight car in a fairly small cabin, doing that number, yes, I can buy that. I've seen guys do 55s, and bigger with a single 12. So I can buy that. That I'll buy because of the amount of cone area that 15 has and the amount of potential throw it would have. But it's still sketch, but that's more believable. And yeah, exactly. W said, yeah, because IB. Yeah, IB is efficient as hell, dude. It's very efficient. It's just there's no control. You have to do all the controlling. Where'd they all come from? I didn't see any of them in the chat. They're in there, man. They show up. They all show up. W, do you know what the guy's box design is? It's not a fourth or a sixth. I assume ported, but I didn't see a port. Maybe a port is through the rear deck. I'm missing it. Are you talking about the guy with two magical eights that did the stupid stuff? I don't know. I haven't even seen the video. I'll have to go look it up. The problem is I hate giving traction to somebody who is claiming bullshit because it inspires them to do more bullshit claiming. And I don't like rewarding negative behavior. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't care to reward negative behavior. So yeah, I can see the difference. I'm not sure. Let's see. Stu says, "Oh yeah, y'all can see it. Okay, green showing up in the cap. Okay, I got you. And blue. Okay, all right. See, I'm not seeing either of those. I don't see that. All I see is the same for everybody, and I'm not sure why. On either chat, like I have two different chat list. One is over here on the right. You guys can't see it, and it's like scrolling up and down through it. And then the one that you guys can see that I have on the overlay, this one, that one is one. And for me, they're all the same there, but I also have a separate one over here that I can see, which is what I'm constantly working my way through during the show. Let's see. W says, Jason, yeah, airport. He said airport around the rear outside, moved outside of the box usually. The eights we're talking about are sundown something eights. Somebody will tell you in chat. They're from like a year ago. It was apparently, from what I've heard, it was an experimental 8-inch sub from Sundown like a year ago. Yeah, and the claim was that somebody hit 150 plus decibels at 18 hertz on 2 8s in a car. That's all I know. I don't know where the meter was or any of that stuff. We did determine it was a Mitsubishi something, but that's all I know. Side port. JD said, thank you, UFO. Yeah, which 8s? Ashley says, slam it, slap it, slap that like button. Hey, Sesh, I assumed the trunk was sealed from the cabin to help pressurize it. Look, if you're gonna try to do stupid shit like that, you got everything sealed. You know, you ain't got no motor, you ain't got no wheels. It's just a tube that says car on the side. Smoking must be a southern thing these days. Never see it anymore. I'm old school, baby. I started smoking when I was 11 years old. And it's my cousin's fault. And honestly, it wasn't my fault. I made a lot of bad decisions in my life. My cousin was like my hero. He was the coolest dude in the history of cool. This guy had a 1966 Cadillac. Mind you, this was in the early 80s. Early 80s. Like 81, 82. He had a 1966 Cadillac. Big old son bitch, right? The gas pedal was like 3 foot long, and it was a convertible. He would ride to the Sonic wearing a bathrobe and some bunny slippers, the fuzzy bunny rabbit slippers, bunny slippers, and a bathrobe. He would go to the town and go to the Sonic, and he would end up within 10 minutes having 2 or 3 really hot girls over there in the car with him every time. This cat was amazing. Well, he come home with some cigarettes at one time, and I was over there hanging out because, of course, you would hang out with somebody cool, right? And that was just passed around, and I was young enough to say, sure, I'll take one, and the rest is smoking history. Yeah, he was my hero. Still is, man. I love him. He's my brother, and he's been through some rough shit, like a whole lot, but we still talk. He's still a good dude. Still my bro. I got in trouble for making that statement one time, Duddy. I had somebody in the comments chewed all up in my ass about me saying that a ported enclosure with a port firing toward the rear in an SUV acted somewhat like a sixth order enclosure. I made that statement in a video. Actually, my wording was, it's sort of like a sixth order enclosure. This apparently set him the hell off because we went back and forth for a long time in the comments on that video. He claimed that there was absolutely nothing like a sixth order enclosure, blah, 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 blah. And he just kept going and going and going and going. And I'm like, wow, man, the world is not black and white. The world is different shades of gray. I didn't say it was. I said it was sort of like one. And he just thought that was the most insulting thing I could have possibly said. So, yeah, I got in all kind of trouble making that statement. But I still stand behind it. If you put an enclosure with a port firing toward the rear or up, even, in the back of a car where the roof is, kind of close-ish down to it, it's going to create sort of a sixth order enclosure. It is going to happen. If you remove that roof, it would sound different. That roof is creating another chamber. It is. It's a bad one. It's piss poor. It's not any good, but it's still there. You might get lucky and it might sound awesome. But it's still a sixth order. You're controlling the speaker with some. If you're controlling the speaker cone with a part of this enclosure, which the roof would somewhat control it, it's an order. It just is. So yeah, we went back and forth about that for a long time. I thought it was funny, and he was stressing the hell out about it. Sounds like the local guys from here that used to use the 8s and a cross box for SPL competition. I'm not familiar with the cross box. All sealed, just had a hole cut in the top large enough for the mic to go. Oh. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's messed up. It says car on the side. It's a car. It's obviously a car. You give a kid a crayon and say, draw me a car. 3 years old, 4 years old. If they're fairly close to it, there's going to be a steering wheel somewhere in there. Yeah, there's going to be a steering wheel. They're going to at least put a freaking steering wheel in there. A car isn't a car without a steering wheel. It doesn't work that way. I used to love it. A pack of Reds, Mountain Dew for $3. $3. Man, that shows you how old I am. So I can remember buying cigarettes for myself, name brand cigarettes, and the earliest price that I can remember for sure was $1.10 a pack. But so yeah, $1.10 a pack, and a carton was $10 even. That was the lowest price I can absolutely remember paying. But my mom, get this shit, y'all. It's one of those uphill both ways in the snow stories. My mom and her sisters go to the movie, and grandma would give them the money to go to the movie, right? So grandma would give them each a quarter. And on that quarter, they could go to the movie, watch a movie, get a Coke and popcorn, and on the way home, they had enough change left from that quarter to buy 3 pieces of penny candy. So it cost 22 cents to go to the movie, watch the movie, and get a popcorn and a Coke for 22 cents. Things have changed, huh? I know this because I heard the story, and I did the math. I'm like, that's crazy, man. But yeah, it's just, it's what it is. W said it's an enclosure in an enclosure. So yes, it acts like a Sith. Exactly. I remember saying I was going to quit if they ever hit $3 a pack. Yeah, that shit didn't work, man. That didn't work. I tried. I smoked all through basic training. I smoked through AIT. I smoked in the military. I have never stopped for any length of time. Funny thing is, I've got all sorts of problems, but the doctor said my lungs, he couldn't tell I'm even a smoker based on my lungs. My lung health is incredible. Other than the fact that my heart leaves water in there when it shouldn't, but we work with what we have. But my lung capacity is not as good as it should be, of course, especially now. But I've survived with it. I mean, I've got all kinds of problems, but smoking's not actually attached to any of them. It's funny how that works. I did try to quit once though, and I didn't. It didn't go well. I've been doing it my whole life, as long as I can remember, and my body just doesn't know how to function without nicotine. It just doesn't. It doesn't work right. And Franco equates and have a good week, everyone. Yep. Stu said I quit for 8 months once and then started dating a girl that smoked. Yeah, that didn't work out. Yeah. And it don't take much, man. Whenever you're just like, you're right on the edge all the time, Some people can just like stop. I'm not one of those people. That's why I don't do drugs, because I couldn't quit. I would never. I'll become addicted to anything. So I don't do anything. I don't do anything that could be addictive, because I will be absolutely addicted to it. Jason said people back then were probably earning 50 cents an hour. No, they weren't earning that much, my friend. I couldn't tell you for sure about that specific era, but I can tell you what my mom's paychecks were, because she had a whole shoebox full of paycheck stubs that I went through one day. And for her, a normal week, she worked at the factory and worked 40 hours a week, and she had a pretty good paying job at the time for factory work. And her paychecks were like $80, $90 a week. For like, 20 hours of overtime or some shit, she would have like $120 check. That would be a really big ass check. So yeah, but in grandma's day, when mama was a kid, man, that was probably, yeah. I mean, it's probably $1 a day was probably a paycheck, maybe $2 a day, something like that. So yeah. Shifty said, "How is your day going so far?" My day is actually going great. I started out the day by heading out to the Habitat for Humanity Restore. You guys have never been to a Habitat Restore? You're missing a whole lot of cool because they have everything there, all kinds of cool stuff. You go walk in there and just walk around and look around. You'll get ideas. You'll find all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, anything you can think of, you'll find it in there. It's pretty bonkers. Um, Back in '96, I used to deliver pizza all night on $5 to $10 worth of gas and my Cutlass. 86 Cutlass with a 307. The 307. Yeah, I had one of those. Had a pickup with a 307 in it. Had a Oldsmobile something. It had a 260 V8, a little 260, and we had put straight pipes on it. That thing sounded so amazingly good. It sounded like a straight up race car. It wouldn't get out of its own way. It was a weak little motor, but damn, it sounded good. I mean, it sounded juicy good. That was a cool car. My first job was minimum wage, $4.25 an hour, 80 to $100 a week. Yeah, balling. Damn right, man. No bills or expenses. Hell, that's about what I make. That's almost what I make right now. I make I'll make a little more than that, but not much. Um, awesome, thank you. To my car and car audio. Hell yeah. When I was a youngster, there was no such thing as car audio, really. There was kind of. I mean, you could buy a new head unit that would play tapes tapes. A lot of head units just had a radio, so you'd buy one that played tapes, 8 tracks or cassettes, depending on what decade we're talking about. Um, but we had power boosters. And I don't even know, dude. It made it louder and it sounded like hot garbage, but we didn't realize it sounded like hot garbage because we didn't have anything to compare it to that sounded better. It's like CRT TVs, guys. I know there's some of y'all in here are my age. Looking back, you look at the picture of a CRT TV and you're like, oh my God, look how shitty that picture looks. It's absolutely atrocious. But when you were young and you had a good hot signal coming in on the antenna or you're a VCR or something hooked up to it, that picture was awesome. It was crazy cool. It was super awesome. It was just perfect. And now you've gotten so used to what we have now that looking back to it, you realize just how bad it was. Um, that was the case with everything, though. 80 to 100, yeah. Vroom. Mine was not cool. I used to pull up to the station and tell them to fill her up and check with oil and check the gas. Fill her up with oil and check the gas. Yeah. I got every Ford I had, but you had to put a gas tank and then you had to put a quart of oil in it every time you filled it up. Yeah, that was normal. I had to get those little defouler things to put in the spark plug holes so that the oil wouldn't foul the spark plugs out. I can't count the times I changed alternators and starters and crap in the parking lots and on the side of the highway, all that. So yeah, you guys all know. We've all been there. Holy crap. We got more tacos in the house.
Crushing on these tacos, we by the fiesta. Guac on the side, man, you know it's the best.
Tacos,
lettuce and salsa, stack it high, make it pop. Crunch in my mouth, can't stop, won't drop. Sliver scissor in, flavors cold is so sweet. After one taco, I'm in for a repeat. Bite after bite, got me dancing in my seat. Hitting up the taqueria, can't face defeat. Taco love in every single bite. Feeling good, every feast all night.
Thank you, JD, for the 22 tacos, baby. Love it. You guys are absolutely awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, no doubt, dude. Thanks for the support. Um, Stu jumped in here and said, kids these days will never know what it's like to drive down the road, see cassette tape blowing across 2 lanes of traffic. You guys know, you stick the tape on the pencil. I can't count the times I've carefully got in there with, a toothpick and stuff and tried to pull that tape out of that mechanism after it got ate. Good times, man. And I wouldn't want it any other way. Wouldn't want it any other way. You guys are freaking awesome. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have been great tonight. And I'm glad that we had a chance to hang out. Always good. Guys, be sure to slam that like button, hit that thumbs up. And more importantly than any of that, love each other, man. Take care of each other and take care of your people, because it's not up to the other person to be nice to you. It's up to you to be nice to them. You're in control of what you do. You're not in control of what they do, but you're in control of what you do. You're in control of how nice of a person you're going to be to everybody around you. Make it a point to be nice to everybody every day, because it starts with you. Guys, let's get the duck out of here.
Are getting loud, you can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go. Got it shined up for the show. Hours charging, amps are amping, gonna let the woofers blow. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home. Another one bites the dust. Are glowing and the amps smoking, subs are cherry red. Let me keep jamming, gotta keep the bass slamming, gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go. 20 hertz in the floating air. Sparks are flying, voice coils are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust. Got it. Got it. Boom.
You guys are awesome, man. Y'all got me cracking the hell up.